A brighter tomorrow, our hope for each of America's 74 million children.
I want to be a biomedical engineer.
A teacher. A wrestler.
I want to be a physical therapist.
Big dreams, but America's schools are coming up short.
This is the most important domestic issue we face. It's the most important issue this country faces.
Our dropout rate is unacceptably high, our high school graduation rate is unacceptably low, and far too many of our high school graduates aren't prepared for college and careers.
As the world moves ahead, America falls behind. But we can do better.
All of this talk that you hear about, well, we want more money. Money is not the problem. It's where we're putting the resources.
More failure is not an option.
Figure out who can teach, and if they can't, how do we help them? And if that doesn't work, how do we humanely terminate them from the profession?
If we want to win the future, if we want innovation to produce jobs in America and not overseas, and we also have to win the race to educate our kids.
It's just not their future that's at stake. The future of America is on the line. Today, learning a new way to teach and teaching a new way to learn. The Steel on Wheels bus pulls into Omaha Central High School in Nebraska.
And the show starts right now. Good afternoon to you. How are you? I am Dylan Radigan, of course, and welcome to Omaha Central, home, as you can tell, of the Eagles. As we continue our Steel on Wheels tour on innovation today, what can we do to revitalize our nation's educational system? What can we do to help kids soar to new heights like the Eagles of Central High? After all, education and job creation go hand in hand. Without one, you cannot have the other. We cannot fix this country's jobless crisis without addressing our schools. All too often, where a child lives determines the type of education that they get, and poverty so closely tied to what we get in the way of academic achievement. I want you to consider some things. 42% of the young children in this country are currently living in low-income families. These at-risk youth without early care and education are 50% more likely to be placed in costly special education programs. Educating our kids early, from birth, that's the key to restoring economic vitality and ensuring that our children inherit the future they deserve and the future our country is more than capable of creating. That mission is the first of our first guests. Omaha Central alum and one of the biggest advocates for early childhood development herself, Susie Buffett. She is founder and chairman of the Sherwood Foundation and also the daughter, of course, of a man who didn't go to the school, but his wife did. So it's 5 generations, right?
That's right.
Warren has an excuse.
That's
He was in D.C.
Yeah, it's not
but
his
of
fault.
course, so we won't blame Warren for not coming. And then Daniel Pedersen is the president of the Buffett Early Childhood Fund, joins us. Daniel, welcome. And I like your bow tie.
Thank you very much. It's appropriately
Can
colored.
you do the eagle?
I am an eagle.
I know it
I
is.
am
Love
an eagle.
it. All right. Explain to us what your program does.
Our program is for low-income kids, starting at birth to 5 years old, to prepare them to enter kindergarten on par with every other kid. It is there's a social emotional piece to it, as well as I guess the word is academic, although I hate using that for little children. And it's about quality early childhood for the lowest income children.
How does it work? In other words, how is it funded, and how transferable is it?
Educare is funded through partnership. It's a public-private partnership, and it's also a program that connects all levels of public funding, federal funding through Head Start, school district funding, and state funding through child care. We put all those funds together with the private sector, and when we blend those funds, we can create a program of high enough quality to permanently change the trajectory of a young child's life.
We're done talking to grown-ups. We're going to hear what the kids have to say right after this. We're heading into the halls to see what America's future leaders are talking about and what they want to be when they grow up. Welcome back. Day 2 of our Steel on Wheels bus tour, focused on education and innovation. And who better to talk to about the state of education than the students right here at Omaha Central High School in Nebraska. Earlier, I hit the hallways to hear what they had to say, and they're a lot louder in the hallways than they are right now. Take a listen. What do you think about Omaha Central High?
I think it's the best school in the world.
Why?
Basically our diversity, and we got a base culture in all classes.
Lots of great teachers, and the programs are really great. They take time and talk to you about your problems and schoolwork.
You could take one thing that you like about this high school and teach it to every high school in America, what would it be?
Diversity.
Diversity? Why do you think that's so important?
Real diversity. You just look through our hallways and see every race there is. So.
It's like America. Well, we're only halfway done with the show, but I just want to thank you guys. You guys have made, can you guys come to every show that I do? Would you guys mind traveling? I'll get you out of school, take the band, we'll take this whole thing on the road. All right. I want to thank everyone here for their time. Just ahead, fighting the special interests that have a stranglehold on our government. It's not the first time. Some lessons from history, how farmers right here in Nebraska 100 years ago banded together to fight the robber barons, the original populist movement, then and now, when we're back. Welcome back. Day 2 of the Steel on Wheels tour here at the headquarters of Union Pacific, Burlington Northern, the railroad barons of the world. So many of them started right here in Omaha, Nebraska. They were the original consolidators of wealth and power in this country and ultimately provoked the first organizational response to break that kind of concentrated power up. And joining us, Professor Bob Miller, whose latest book, Populist Cartoons, published by Truman State Press, and a man who knows everything there is to know, at least for our money. Well. A lot of what there is to know about this period of time. Just how powerful were these railroads?
The railroads were tremendously powerful in the late 19th century. This is the highway of America. Everything moves by railroad unless you live on a major river. Certainly out in places like Nebraska, this is the only way to move produce. It is the only way to get consumer goods. It is the only way for an individual to travel more than just a few miles. So it's a monopoly situation, and along with monopoly, of course, you get high prices and a lot of consolidated wealth.
Should we take a walk?
Sure.
All right. So as I understand it, it was really a major in the Industrial Revolution and a lot of the technological change that led to the populist movement. How is that?
Well, technological change is going to change not only industry, but it's also going to change agriculture as well. You're going to have more farm machinery. You're going to have to feed people who go to the cities to work in the factories, and that means you're going to need a lot more food and seed and all kinds of other things that are going to take some money.
Okay.
So you're going to go into debt.
Which means the banking system becomes more powerful.
Yes, the banking system and financial institutions of all kinds will finance this, but they will finance it to make a profit for themselves, of course.
Is that in order to reform what they saw, this concentration of wealth and power, the populists felt that neither the Democrats nor the Republicans were up for the job.
Right. Both parties seem to fight the old issues, seem to ignore the real issues that would affecting common people, especially people out here. They will, in fact, decide that third-party action is what they need to do.
So at that point, they start to look to run their own presidential candidates outside of the Democratic Party, outside of the Republican Party, in order to basically confront the unfairness that they see with the railroads and the banks. Is that right?
The old parties will not